Well, hello everyone, and welcome to this episode of Stuart's Random Tech and Media. I have something a little bit special today to show you. It's been something I wanted to do for a while. I have a LaunchPad Mini. It's a Novation LaunchPad Mini, and the problem with it is it works great. I can program it, but the buttons are all blank. And even though the buttons light up, I sometimes, while recording my podcast or doing other tasks with it, end up hitting the wrong button. So it's been a problem for me for quite a while now. So I have the Novation LaunchPad Midi here, and I think I've come up with a solution to my issue here. As you can see, I have one sticker. What I have done is actually created a set of customizable stickers or buttons for on top of the buttons that can be put on. So what I'm going to be doing is giving away the template to this, and you can customize it to your heart's desire. It'll be in PDF and Affinity Photo, or actually Affinity Designer template as well. So I'm going to give that out on the website. If you go into the show notes or the description on YouTube or Rumble, you will see the link there to the templates. Now, for those of you that don't want to try and do the cutouts yourself, I am getting some custom ordered buttons, or stickers I should say, that can be hopefully die cut, and that way you can just peel them off like any regular sticker off of wax paper. So that's what I'm working on right now. So what I'm going to do here is just show you the LaunchPad MIDI. And so right now I just have the one button that I use. I haven't put all the stickers on yet, but I have created the template here and printed it off. So I have a bunch of preset templates that are preset stickers that you can do. So this is based off a mixer. This is just a test one, sort of a sample, and the outline is actually where the edge of the button is. So I have a mute, I have solo, I have monitor A1 and A2. So this is kind of corresponding with voice meter potato or banana, I suppose. Bus 1 and bus 2 again for voice meter. Arm, which is basically arming the track. And then I have a bunch of random pads here. So it could be pad intro, pad sleep, pad drum, effects, etc., and outro. So these are just some of the common things that I would use, or maybe somebody else would use. And then over on the other side here, I have stream, the record, start replay, stop replay, fade, cut, Discord, and screenshot. So these buttons on the side here would sort of correspond with OBS hotkeys, which can be programmed. And then as well on the top, I have scene buttons. So if you're using OBS or another switching software, you could program these to different scenes. Now, this is just what I came up with, but the template itself, you can go in there and change it to how you want. So we've moved over to my computer, one of my computers, and I'm going to show you how to get the template, the LaunchPad Mini Mark II template, and it is in PDF and it's also in Affinity Designer format. So if you're going to mess around with it, the PDF version, you're going to have a PDF editor. And for the Affinity Designer, I don't use Photoshop because I got so frustrated with it. A couple of years back, I dumped all my Adobe software entirely, and I refused to go back to Adobe. I got sick and tired of the bugs, the constantly changing UI, the monthly fees, and so on ad nauseum to Infinity. So I went to Affinity literally It's not perfect, but it does most of what I need to do, and the amount of bugs and issues with it is so much less than Photoshop. And Affinity Designer, for those that don't know, is basically just a replacement for the Adobe Suite. All right, so let's move on and how to get the template. So just to get the template, just go into your search bar here, or URL bar, I guess, and just type in multimedia.ca/Stewart's random tech, like that. And this link will be in the description of the video as well. So if you go here, you'll just see the directory with the two files in it. So the first file is the Affinity Design file. Now, if you just click on it, you're going to see this with a bunch of garbage. So I do recommend right-clicking and going Save Blank As, and then save it to your Downloads folder or wherever you want to save it. I am on a Windows machine. And if you want to download the PDF, you can just click the link and it'll pop up there. Now, this particular computer doesn't have a PDF software installed on it, so it's just doing it in the browser. But I do recommend using a actual PDF software to do the printing, or even to do any editing. Yeah, so you might want to right click on that one as well and go Save Blank As, just so it doesn't cause you any issues with the built-in PDF viewer on the browsers. All right. So I'm going to jump over to Affinity Designer now. Okay, this is what Affinity Designer looks like. For those of you that don't know, there's a lot of similarities here and the Adobe Suite, but it does it in a much better way, I find. And there's a lot more non-destructive things. But that's not what this video is about. It's about this template. So as you can see, I just opened up here and I have all the scenes and the buttons laid out here. So each one of these buttons is 10 millimeters. Okay, so if you're doing it yourself or making changes somehow, you need to know that the actual button size is 10 millimeters, but I recommend going less than that when you're doing your cutting. So maybe 8 millimeters or 8.5 millimeters. So it's not right up at the edge of the button on the four corners. And then if you wanted to just make your changes, you just go in here, double click, and then I could type in whatever I want. I'll just say OBS 1 or something like that. All right, so you get the idea. Now I just wanted to mention one other thing. These buttons are not spaced out correctly if you were just to sit them out on top of your device. Okay, the LaunchPad Mini Mark II. This is designed for the Mark II, obviously. Now the skin that I designed is actually spaced out correctly, the space in between, so that when you go to put it over top, it'll be fine. So when you're printing these out, don't expect it to just sit over top and if you're thinking you might be able to avoid some of the cutting, which was quite time consuming for me anyways. Yeah, these aren't spaced out perfectly for that. So you'll have to cut them out individually. And that's why I'm getting stickers professionally done up for this situation. Okay. So yeah, that about wraps up the template itself. It's pretty self-explanatory. The dotted lines are simply there as referenced, so you know where to cut as well. If you do take it to a professional printer, you might want to give them the dimensions of the buttons instead. And one other thing I'm going to show you as well is just the layers in here. I should have probably done that, but if you look on the right side here, you'll see all the layers for each thing there. So it's fairly self-explanatory. But if you wanted to turn off just the lines for the top, you can turn them off there, print it. Turn off these buttons, the lines for those buttons, the border. Same with these. Same with these, and so on. Okay, so you can turn that off as you need it, and there's actually an extra layer in there for color too, if you wanted to have a background color for the buttons as well. Now, I wouldn't necessarily print out a solid color because then the lights from the LaunchPad wouldn't show through, but that's up to you. All right, so these things just peel off, and what I'll do is I'll just show you how I did it. Holy mackerel, that was time consuming. By far the little circular buttons were the hardest to put on, that's for sure. I'll just go like this for you. Now, I just wanted to point out, yes, there's going to be people in the comments who say the record button isn't on straight. So these transparent stickers actually are fairly easy to come off as well. I'll just show you that. Easy peasy, easy peasy. And you just put it back on like that. I do have shaky hands, so if I with shaking hands can do it, anyone can do this. Now, obviously, I didn't cut these out perfectly, but when I do get these properly printed with a professional printer, that'll change things quite a bit. I'll just show that again. Hopefully you can see that. And the buttons they're not programmed because the computer's not on right now, but the buttons they are lighting up. This is the default factory mode for this Novation LaunchPad Mini number 2. Now, what I do need from all of you is what buttons you would like to basically have printed out or in the template if you don't have the ability to make your own at this point. So please leave something in the comments about which buttons you want. Maybe a partially transparent background would also work on these buttons as well. We do still want the lights to shine through, but it's possible to put a background. I also have plans and actually a skin already sorted out. Now, I went online and looked for skins for these and templates for these, and the closest thing I could find was custom. There was a website, I can't remember the name of the website, but they wanted $35 for a single skin. I think I can do better than that. So when I get that skin done, I'll be making a video on that one as well. Then that would just go completely around the buttons. I already have the measurements all worked out and whatever, so that's all sorted out. So it's not going to be long before that happens as well. So yeah, thank you all for watching this video, and when I have more updates on these stickers, I'll let you know. Go into the comments, like and subscribe, all that normal stuff you would normally do on YouTube, and I'll see you in the next video.